Hello, greetings from Costa Rica. This is Carlos. I'm sharing today for my demonstration how to do the vlookup function. For that, I'm going to be using the transformers table I've been sharing in all my demonstration sessions. This is of great importance for me as something I share with my dad, and now I'm sharing with my kids, which is why it's so of great importance for me. So here is my table, and this is the other tab I created to do the VLOOKUP function. So pretty much here I have a category of toys that I want to know how many I have of each type or of each category. And here in the summary tab I have all the information, like how many I have of each category or size class I call it here. So I'm gonna do the VLOOKUP function, and this is gonna be done a little different from how we learned to do it this week. I'm going to do it using the insert function button here. You just, well, first you select the cell in which you want to enter the function, and then you click here once. Once you do that, it's going to show you the insert function pop-up window, which is going to show you the functions that you have been using recently. You can select here if you want to see all of them or the financial ones or the multiple type of different functions that we have. I will keep it in the most recently used. And then you just double click on the type of function you want to use for that. So I will double click on VLOOKUP. That will pop up this window, which is for you to enter the function arguments, which is pretty much the same thing as entering here, entering the formula or the function here in the formula bar. It's just that we're going to do it in this pop-up window. For me, and that's personal preferences, it's for me it's easier to do it here. So for the lookup value, remember that this is the common factor, sorry, between both tables. So I'm gonna select all of the column that contains the common factor in both tables, or the lookup values in in the other table. Once I have selected this, I will go to the table array, which is the source or where we will pull the information from. Once you click here, you can go and select the other tab where the information is, and you're gonna select again the column where the common factor is. And these always have to be in the left side of your table. Remember that. That's super important. So once you select that one, you move your mouse to the right where the column that contains all that information is. In this case, these are just two columns, but you will be doing this, and I've been doing it in tables that contain, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 different columns, and it's going to be harder to count the number of columns. So if you see where my cursor is, you will see that it contains two sets of numbers. Uh, 10 represents the rows. I have selected 10 rows, and then it says 2C, which is two columns. So that is going to be easier for you to, instead of counting the columns with your finger on the screen. I've done that a lot until I discover how to do this. So you just check on that number, the number right next to the C or column, and remember that because you're gonna need it right now. Just release your mouse button, and this will return to the window, and then move to the column index number. And the number we're gonna enter there, it's the number of columns we selected, which was number two. Just put that there, and then in the range lookup, sorry, in the range lookup, we learned this week that we need to enter false, and that's a way of doing it. The other way of doing it, which is easier, is just enter 0, and it's going to give you the same result, right? Just click OK, and then double click here to populate the function in all of the rows. But then you see we have too many showing NA, this error. But I know for a fact that some of these I do have in the other table. So why did that happen? And that's because we didn't anchor the source in the function. So to do that, remember that you just need to select the um, um, the range that you're using as the source, or uh, the lookup values. And remember to click F4 to anchor those. Once you do that, you need to repopulate all the functions in all of those cells, and then that's gonna work. But still, we have NA for three of them. Why is that? Oh, four. Actually, we have four with error with an NA error message, and that's because we don't have these categories in the other table. So instead of getting the NA result, I would like to have something different, something that tells me I don't have any figure, any of these type of figures. So I'm gonna edit my VLOOKUP function, and I'm gonna enter an if uh, function, if error. That's what we learned this week as well. Just and then open parenthesis, and then at the end enter a column, and then in semicolons you will enter the text that you wanted to show for you. So for this, I'm gonna add something like uh, you don't, sorry, you don't have any of this, and then close parentheses, and then click enter, and then again double click here so that the function is replicated in all of the rows. So now it's now with this list, I know what I have and what I don't have. And this is how the VLOOKUP function works, using the insert function button here and the pop-up window for that. And I hope you find value in this. Uh, Thank you so much for your time, and have a great weekend and a wonderful week.